Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. It's Monday and there's only one NFL game left. By the time you watch this, you may have already seen it take place. So let's look ahead. Let's talk about Week 10 and all the players you may be considering to upgrade your roster. I'm talking about Week 10 waiver claims. Let's go. All right, number one waiver priority this week at running back is Jordan Howard, who looks like the number one running back in Philadelphia. I picked Boston Scott last week, and I picked wrong. Boston Scott was somewhat involved, but Jordan Howard definitely saw the most touches in this backfield, and until Miles Sanders comes back, I think he is the player that you want the most in this Philly backfield, and right now only rostered at 9%, so go after him. I think he has the most value. And then Devontae Freeman would be my next best option. He's rostered 5%, and until Latavius Murray comes back, he has a lot of value for the Ravens. He's seeing the most touches, and if I could only pick one Ravens running back, it would be him. So both of them are definitely very much available and worth your attention if you need a running back. Adrian Peterson is rostered 53%. He's in like the same vein as these players. However, it's less likely that he's available. And for 1 week, I think Devin Singletary is also really interesting if Zach Moss is out with that concussion, because the Buffalo Bills play the New York Jets. So Devin Singletary may have some plug-and-play upside, but only for 1 week, really. And he's rostered 58%, so he's probably not available either, but worth a look. And then if none of those guys are, you can get any of them. If you can't get any of those players, Carlos Hyde is rostered in 29%, but he's only a flex play at best. He has a bad matchup against Indianapolis this week. Going to be tough sledding against the Colts. So those are my running backs for Week 10. And then at wide receiver, I really am interested in Brandon Aiyuk, rostered in 45%. He had a big game this week. And Deebo Samuel is not 100%, so he may be more involved moving forward. And I think Brandon Aiyuk could pop in the second half of this year. He's worth a look. Rashod Bateman is also interesting, rostered in 25%. A lot of upside in this offense, especially if Sammy Watkins continues to miss time. Russell Gage is interesting as long as Calvin Ridley continues to sit out games. And the number one wide receiver is really Cordero Patterson, but I think the next best option after Kyle Pitts is Russell Gage. And then an interesting addition, but rostered in 43%, is Van Jefferson. He's got some upside in this Rams offense, but not too much of a floor. He's rather touchdown dependent. At quarterback, though, I think Teddy Bridgewater is worth a higher roster percentage in two quarterback formats, but odds are you either have your backup already or your quarterback situation is kind of locked into place. Your league is probably more competitive if you're considering these names, but Baker Mayfield only rostered 11%. Trey Lance and Colt McCoy, I think, are interesting backup options, worth being rostered in more two quarterback formats. But then at tight end, I think there's really only one player that you can add, and that's Dan Arnold. He's rostered in 17%, but everyone above 50 is pretty much on the edge or firmly inside the top 10. And one player that's just worth checking for is Dawson Knox, because he may have been dropped given that injury that he's sustained, and he's going to come back either next week or the week after, and he's going to have a lot of value. So he's rostered in 62%, and I think he's worth checking for because he has a lot of value. Definitely a top 10 tight end when healthy. And then the defensive streamers this week, I like the Ravens defense at Miami, rostered in 51%, so they're right on the edge there. Same goes for the Broncos versus Philadelphia, right on the cusp at 53%, but I think it's a decent matchup. And even though they don't have Von Miller, their secondary is elite, and they shut down the Cowboys, who are definitely much better than the Eagles, so they're an interesting pickup. But if you're desperate and you need a streamer, the Titans defense, who just shut down the Rams, goes up against the New Orleans Saints and Trevor Siemian, and I think as long as they can take care of Alvin Kamara, they can shut down this entire team. So I think the Titans is an interesting pickup as a streaming defense in Week 10 against the Saints. But that's going to wrap it up. Those are my priority pickups at all 5 key positions this week. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll have rankings and more analysis throughout the week. But until then, I'll see you next time. My name is Adam Riancho, and thank you for watching Nice and Blunt.